Okay, so we're going to pick up right where we left off. We're going to add in now a hover. So remember that colon after that a tag reference is actually saying when we hover over a link, do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the background color to be black. And we're going to give our text a color of white. That's what we're going to change here. So now if we save and if we go over here and we run it, we'll see all the stylings change. So this is just our menu page. You saw that all of the text changed. It now has a different look to it with different fonts, different styles. It no longer has an underline, and you'll notice that when we hover, it changes how it looks. So that's what that a hover does. So a link in general just changes what the links look like, but a hover is more specific and says when we hover, do this instead. And if we go back here and we update, we'll see those changes occur here as well. So we've now added in our embedded style sheet, and we've seen how an embedded style sheet can alter and change our document. So there is one type of style sheet. Now what we're going to add next is we're actually going to add in an external style sheet. So remember, this is actually a completely separate document. So this is something that styles many web pages, and as a result, it needs to be its own document, and those web pages link separately to this external document. So just a couple of notes to remember is that we use these to ensure consistent style across all web pages in a website. They're a separate file, so we're actually going to do that here is do File, New, and we're going to create a completely separate file here. So we're going to call that style1.css in just a second. And remember, we'll have to link to this file. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to style the body, we're going to style the paragraphs, we're going to style the hyperlinks, and then we're also going to add some table header, and caption styles as well. So it's going to be a pretty detailed document with lots of stylings taking place. So a couple of notes about the body that we'll be using in just a minute is that you can actually set margins around the entire page of a body in order to kind of give it some buffer space. So here you can do margin just as margin in general, and it will have a margin to the top, bottom, left, and right. And you can also specify margin left, margin top, margin right, margin bottom, whatever you'd like to do to only set parts of the margin. And again, notice just like text indent, this can be a % width of the browser, or it can be points as well. So you can do absolute or relative here as well. So as I said, you have your Unit 7 folder already created, and we're going to now be creating that style sheet here. So I'm going to do File, Save As, and I'm going to make sure that it saves in my in-class project for Unit 7, and I'm going to save it as Style S for Style Sheet 1.css. And you can name this file whatever you'd like, as long as you name it with the extension .css. And you'll see that appear up here. We now have our stylesheet.css, and it's saved in our in-class folder. So here is the text that we're going to add in here. And what you're going to notice about our external style sheet is we don't include any HTML style tags. We don't need to. This is just a styling document. So here we'll start and we'll have our body tags, and we'll say we want the margin to be 8 points all around. And you'll see this color codes for a CSS document. Then we have our anchor tags. Oops, indented in accidentally there. We have our anchor tags. And here we're going to give them a text decoration of none. And we're going to give our font a color of black. So notice this has the same basic syntax as an embedded style sheet, but this is just the document that contains the styling. So it's your tag, and then you have your declaration after that with your property value pairs. So here we have our table, then we have font family. So inside of our table, we're always going to use Verdana as our first text choice, Garamond as our second. So this is saying all of the text within our table will have this styling. We're also going to have our font size be 11-point font. We're going to have a border color for our table that is black. And we're going to have a border style for our table that is double. Now from here, you'll notice I did miss the paragraph tag, so I'm going to add that styling in. So here I have my paragraph tag, and I have font family using those same basic fonts of Verdana and then Garamond as my backup. I then have a font size of 11-point font as well. Then here I'm going to style my table headers as well and give them a background color. And notice that while I can use the colors like black, green, blue, and pink, I can also use the hexadecimal code as well. And then I have text align to the left. And finally, I'm going to style my caption tag to have a font size of 8-point font across the board and to have a font style of italic. So I've added a variety of styling here. I'm going to save this. And remember, this is just a styling document. So there's no HTML tags. It is written in CSS, and it's going to have only these style statements involved. And what we're going to do next is we're actually going to link to this CSS document here. So here's my CSS document. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to link other pages to this external style sheet. So all web pages, if they want to use that style sheet, must be linked to it. And we've talked about the tag that we used before. And we'll go through that in just a second as we link our first document. So remember that these go in the header tags of an HTML document, and they're going to look something like this. So we have our link tag. We'll say relationship is a style sheet, type equals text.css, and then we'll have our href statement that links directly to the CSS file. So remember that relationship attribute identifies the relationship that the linking document has to the HTML document. The type indicates what type of content will be. So this is a text-based CSS document, and the href attribute indicates the name and location of that style sheet. So what I'd like you to do now is I'd like you to open up the contacts page. So here we have the contacts page. I'm going to open this up in Notepad++, and I'm going to add in the link to this document. So here you're going to add in the link for it, which is going to use that linking tag. And if you remember correctly, we have 3 attributes we need to have. We have the relationship attribute, which we're saying that the document we're linking has a relationship of a style sheet. The type is a text-based CSS document that we are linking. And the hyperlink reference, the name of the document we're linking is stylesheet.css. Remember, again, this is the name of the file we are linking. And then you need that this file to actually be in the same folder as contact.htm. So we've added this now in, and we've saved it. And what we will see here if we open up our Blue Cell Incorporated website is now if we click on the contacts page, it now has different styling. So if you compare it to the other pages, which had no styling, contact page has that styling with the new fonts, the new sizes, and all of the new linking and table properties that we specified. So we've now linked this in, and it has a new look to it. So what I'd like you to do before moving on to the next video is I'd like you to link our style sheet to the products, question, and welcome page. So before you open up the next video, the products, questions, and this welcome home page should all have that external style sheet involved inside of them.